Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. It is a very important day for Classic WoW today. And so, the account has been reactivated. But let's get rid of that BFA scrub. There we go, that's better. Let's get some Classic up there instead. Already got people triggered! But because this is a Classic WoW video, the important day isn't for BFA. It'll never be for BFA. The important day is for Classic WoW. Why? Because if you have an active account today on the 12th at 3 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, you will be able to reserve your name for Classic WoW. So you'll be able to pick your server and then reserve your name. Now, I don't know what servers are up. I don't know if they've released a realm list for the UK. I think they've done it for the US. I say UK. EU. I'm such a nationalist. But I'm not really too fussed about that, about picking one. I'm going to pick an English-speaking PvE realm. And what I will be making a decision on, which I have, is the faction I'll be going is Horde. I'm going right back to my roots. When I joined the game, I was Horde. I was an undead wowlock. So I'm going to join the game as Horde, as an undead warlock. Maybe mage on the side. We'll see. But I think warlock first and foremost. And so, if you do have an active account, boom, 11 p.m. UK time, you can do it 12 p.m. United States of Europashire time. And then everyone else adjust your clocks accordingly. Yes, I said that on purpose, ladies. So, just a couple of things I want to go through. Oh my, I went through puberty. Just a couple of things that I want to go through. First of all, what's quite interesting, of course, is that you have to have an active account. And we're still 2 weeks away from the release of Classic. I think it releases midnight Pacific time on the 27th. So it would be like 8 a.m. UK time on the 27th. I think that kind of thing. So 2 weeks to go. And I was speaking to my friend earlier, and they said to me, and I don't know if this is true, but I thought it's worth sharing with you. They said to me, why 2 weeks? Because obviously you've got to activate your account now. So there's 2 weeks until release. And then you only get 2 weeks of Classic before you have to make a decision of whether or not you're going to resub. And he said to me, I'm shirking all the responsibility onto him in case you don't like this take, but it's true. He said to me, do you think they've, been in the office and they've kind of said, when a new expansion comes out, what is the week that we tend to see the drop-off? We start to see people beginning to drop off. And somebody's like, well, statistically, because that's all WoW does. WoW doesn't, Blizzard don't feel from here anymore. This is empty. It's vacant. There's no heart there. It's just a hollow shell that they store their 20, 40, whatever it is, pieces of silver. No. They just look at analyticals all the time. Analyticals show us that it's week 3. So is it that, Is it one of those things? So they go, right, okay. Well, if we push the name reservation to 2 weeks before, that gives them 2 weeks. And so if they want a third week, they're going to have to resubscribe. And if they drop off, then we've got another month out of them. Who knows? Who knows? It could be tinfoil hat time, but I thought it was an interesting thing to bring up. But I want to share a little story with you, if you will indulge me. And it's a story about what happened here today, because all I did was jump onto the Classic Beta. The first time I've jumped onto the Classic Beta since playing the little test that they did at BlizzCon 2017. And all I wanted to do was just play for approximately 30 minutes. Edit the 30-minute footage down to whatever this spiel is going to be on today's video. Just give you something to look at apart from, a wall of text, which it normally is, because, we're talking about an article. And something happened in his 30 minutes, which actually made me think, oh yeah, Classic is actually coming. And what I mean by that is, I mean an attitude in people and an attitude change in people. If you look at WoW today, it is designed to be antisocial. It is. Everything that it does is designed to be antisocial. Mobs are soloable without any problem whatsoever in the outside world. And mobs are multi-tap. So even if there was one that was maybe a little bit tougher, let's just say for the first couple of weeks of an expansion, sometimes you have a bit of a problem with some of the rares. Well, not the rares, but the golden dragons, the elites. Then you might, just need another person. You don't need to call out. You don't need to do anything apart from going to Group Finder, and there will undoubtedly be that mob in that finder with a stack of people, and you just go in, you kill. And because that group just keeps revolving around, because the spawn time of these mobs is 30 seconds to 2 minutes or whatever it is, the group just stays constantly open, rotating people through, conveyor belt killing the elite. Nobody speaks to each other. Nobody converses with each other. It's in, out, put the kettle on. Thank you very much indeed, madam. You want to go into a dungeon? Yeah, press a button and you queue. You barely talk to your dungeon mates. I don't actually know the last time I truly conversed with fellow dungeoneers. I think, you kind of have the dungeon on one screen and people that have got dual screens, or even if you don't, you got the radio on, you got music on, you've got Netflix on. It's a solo experience, even though there are people there. You want to raid, you again press a button, queue up. You can go into the LFR, you can see all the story, you can do all the bosses. And if you want to have that taste of raiding, then you almost go into a class system of guilds now, where you literally have an upper class and almost like a middle to lower class, and that is it. Because you have your elite guilds that are doing the elite content. And yeah, I'm not taking into consideration, because I don't think it particularly works for this argument in terms of organic play. You'll have your top streamers doing carries. I'm carrying people for this raid, carrying people for this mount. Those are just sort of acts that streamers do. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, to get people in, get people involved, blah blah. The kind of carrot on the stick to get in there. But if you actually want to do the raid, the elites, they ain't taking scrubs. They're taking people who are either personalities who have got something going on in Twitch, YouTube, blah, 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 that add to their brand, or they have their team, or they're recruiting elite players and maybe even getting players from different guilds to come in, top end guilds, elite guilds, whereas everyone else is kind of, scrubbing on by. Scrubbing on by down at the bottom. There's no kind of like true way or almost organic way to move from casual raider into an elite raider. There doesn't seem to really be that progressive path anymore. You gotta desperately try and find like-minded people, or maybe try and harangue a few members of that guild to see if you can get any sort of look in, and you go through the whole procedure of, writing down your application, whatever it may be. But what I'm trying to say is, whether it's the outside world, where it's dungeoneering, whether it's rares, whether it's elites, whether it's world bosses, it is just a soulless conveyor belt. of non-communication, non-participation with other players. And you could say, well, why don't you be the person then? You be the person to say, hi everyone, how are you all doing? Let's have a chat. Who wants to have a chit chat about this or that? It's a very different entity when you're trying to force that. You know, do you get true interaction? Not really, no. And because of the disposable nature of that content anyway, people are writing 2 minutes, they're gone. World boss dead, 2 minutes, gone. Elite dead, 40 seconds, gone. LFR, nobody wants to speak in LFR, unless you're just being a prick. Because that's where conversation has got. Because the conversation has died in the current game. When somebody tries to be nice, they're normally stomped over by somebody who just wants to be a dick back to them. Which leads us to Classic. Which leads us to this. Because there was a small event that happened in this 30-second bracket that just made me think there is a slight paradigm shift in attitude. Because I got to a quest where I had to kill a dude, take his bones to the graveyard, put them in the graveyard, put his spirit to rest. And because we're playing Classic, you tap it, it belongs to you. So if you're solo, you tap it, no one else is getting the credit for it. But I was stood there, other people were stood there, some people who were like melee orientated were kind of like getting the pulls all the time because casters, you know, it's quite difficult. Unless a caster walks up and tries to knife it or something like that, melee do have that distinct advantage. But I stood there and I got an invite from somebody. I got an invite. So if any of us tapped it, we would all share the benefit of that. We would all get the quest reward. We could all go to the graveyard and that. And it just made me think, here in the opening area, you already have the seeds sown of that social, you know, that social element which kind of lacks in the game today. We need to help each other in certain situations. There was a great story about the other day about how a bunch of people managed to form an orderly queue to get to a mob on the Classic beta. And they were killing it, moving away. The first person was killing it, moving it away. And the queue was just moving down and people were behaving. There might have been the odd misbehaving person, I'm not sure. But from what I saw, everyone was behaving and just taking it in turns to do it. And I just thought that was, although that's not social, don't get me wrong, that's not social. It still shows a paradigm shift in people's attitude. And it just kind of made me think that Classic WoW could legitimately bring back that social interaction. Could bring back that guild mentality that the game used to have, and the value that guilds would bring to the game, which I don't think they particularly do anymore. Or at least in terms of there's real no necessity. You can see everything that you need to see. There are no secrets in WoW anymore. You know, you want to see the story in the raid, you go into LFR. You can do all the thing, everything. Story, raids, but all by yourself without ever having to interact with a single solitary soul. So just little seeds like that kind of put a big smile on my face. Kind of starting to look forward to Classic a little bit more after that. Just that one little wee thing just seemed to tickle my nuts. So there we go. I know it's a bit of a, again, story time with ours, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch live streaming. Links there in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.